Hello everyone and welcome to another how-to video. Today I'm going to be going over my general strategy for studying for anatomy in DPT school for both the lecture and the cadaver lab settings, as studying for one benefits another. Now, just keep in mind that these are my methods and they may not work for everyone, but hopefully you're able to take something from my methods today that will help you find success in your anatomy exams. My school taught us anatomy from a more regional approach, which is nice because it allowed me to move from a more broader strategy in the beginning of my studying to a more detailed and specific strategy near the end of my studying. Now, since I've already made a how-to video on how I approach a general lecture, make sure to check that video out. It's being pinned right now, but in this video I'm going to focus more on specifically how I studied for anatomy. The first content that I would focus on would be getting the tissues, the muscles, the bones, and everything else musculoskeletal down within our particular region. Doing so allows you to create a strong foundation for your brain to connect things to later down the line when you have more of the complex attributes of those structures. This was something that I would spend a little bit of time on if I could before a lecture would start, as well as making sure that I did it before I went into cadaver lab for the day. Once I knew which structures were present in a particular area, I would spend some time figuring out where on the body they could be identified. This would be from using the PowerPoints to using the book, as well as taking some time within the cadaver lab to try and identify those structures from memory. This establishes a good idea of where those structures may attach, as well as what joints they may cross. Once I started to get this down pretty well, I started to use a particular structure's relation to other structures nearby as part of its description when I was identifying it. This would provide me an opportunity to practice exactly what I would need to do to identify if the structure I was looking at was the structure I was thinking it was on the lab exam. Next, I would spend some time learning the attachments of each of the structures as well as the bony landmarks present within that region. Something that's really useful for this are some of these replicas that have the attachment sites all outlined and labeled so that you can determine which attaches where, and gives you a really good spatial idea of exactly where to look for these muscles. Now, if your school doesn't have these, sometimes there is something similar in the images within textbooks, so make sure to check out your Grant's Anatomy or whatever you have as the base of your anatomy knowledge, as sometimes they do have images like these on there. Finally, I would learn the actions or functions of each of the structures. This would start to come pretty easily because once you know the attachments, what joints they cross, and things like that, you would have a really good idea of what actions they might do. Now, you can do the reverse of this, where first you learn the functions and then you learn the attachments. It's the same idea where you can get a good idea of both. It's just depending on which one you want to prioritize first. Once I had the musculoskeletal portions of the content down, I would shift my focus towards the other systems, such as the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, and the lymphatic system. For these, I would really focus on doing lots of drawings and lots of repetitions of redrawing those type of systems. I would start out with the first 1 or 2 times I did those drawings. I would take a look at my notes, make sure that I had the general structure and relations correct, everything was labeled properly, and then once I felt comfortable with that, I would then move on to trying to do it completely from memory. I would do and fill in as much as possible before checking my notes at all. Then I would just keep doing these repetitions until I was able to get it down completely from memory without having to look at any notes and getting 100%. Drawing and redrawing these structures over and over again really helped me understand how to trace blood vessels, lymph, nerves throughout the body, or just let me know the relations in where they were in the body. So it was very useful and would definitely recommend this. And that is really all I did to perform really well on my anatomy exams. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe down below. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my video on my general lecture strategy for studying in DPT school, or check out my day in the life videos to see those practices in action. Thank you so much for watching. This has been KBDPT, and I'll see you all in the next video.